Oh yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka is that peanut butter on your penis, or you just happen to see me? AKA I just want a little bit of cheesecake. AKA AKA the Komaki Tiger Dropper, AKA the Nigga Lip Master, bringing you yet another episode of Switch It Sites, episode 205. Boy, oh boy, has some stuff popped off since we last met. Valve want to drop a new console. GTA6 wants to delay itself yet again. I just don't understand. I really don't. But nonetheless, without further ado, let's get right into it. Valve, we all know them, we all love them. Came out the woodwork. Was this yesterday or maybe Wednesday? Came out the woodwork announcing what they call the Steam Machine. They announced the whole fleet, but at least I think what got the most attention was this machine. So the Steam Machine is basically their Valve's attempt at making another Steam box, which they tried this before like roughly 10 years ago, but it pretty much flopped. But now, considering how successful the Steam Deck was, it makes sense that they try to give it another go. And I feel like this time it might succeed. What are the specs, if they have them? Let's look at I don't think we necessarily need to look at the specs specifically, but what is the Steam Machine? IO. Okay, so it has one HDMI 2.0 port, even though they said from the videos I've seen that technically it's 2.1, but because of some aspects that they can only, like, I guess, legally call it HDMI 2.0. One DisplayPort 1.4. I think they said you can do multiple monitors, as well as daisy chain DisplayPort, if your monitors support that, and in turn, like, have even more monitors potentially there. 4 USB Type A ports, 2 front, 2 in the back, 1 rear USB Type C 3.2 Gen 2 port on the back, or redundant, but it's on the back. Gigabit Ethernet port and Wi-Fi 6E with Bluetooth 5.3 support. Yeah. Then I think they have 2 models, the 512 gigabit and 2 terabyte models, and also it supports SDXC SD card support. So I think one feature they did mention, which would seem pretty cool, is that if you have a existing SD card on your Steam Deck, you could pop that boy out and plug it in your Steam machine, and it should work uh, natively as well in terms of any games you have on there, which I think is pretty dope. You can upgrade the storage on the Steam machine. It has the short form not micro SD, NVMe SSD, but it does have support for the longer, I would assume more common NVMe SSD, so you can manually upgrade it yourself if you choose to do so. Because I don't know, if I were to get this, I feel like, given that it's so easy, presumably easy to do, I would probably get the 512 and then upgrade it like 4 terabytes or something. And then, probably have to reinstall the operating system on it or whatever, and then I'd be good to go. I think apparently the RAM you can upgrade as well, but that's more difficult because you have to fully rip apart the whole device. So I mean, there's that. What else? 8 gigabytes VRAM. So at least a lot of people are saying this is roughly on par with the PS5 and Series X in terms of power. But I think the biggest thing that is giving it an advantage is that this is technically a console that has free online multiplayer, which of course the competing consoles charge you to play online for majority of the games. So that's a pretty big, substantial point on top of likely being able to play like a lot of the PS5 and Xbox exclusive games that they have ported to PC. In theory, you can play these on this machine, which technically like makes it a very compelling system in that respect, as in like you can play console exclusives on this more than likely. So then it's like, it would beg the question, like, why should you even like stand for going with a console when you could just, ditch everything and go with this. And also, of course, the PC exclusives that you'd have access to as well. So that, I think that in of itself is pretty compelling as a whole. What else was that came to mind that I felt like was worth bringing up? I mean, yeah, I think the biggest thing that will dictate how successful this is the price point, which they have not like mentioned. They did at least give hints where they said specifically it's not going to be, they said something along the lines that it's not going to be within the range of a console price. So that seems like it's going to be higher than like, well, the current consoles, but you can't go too higher than that. But they also said that it's going to be the same price as an introductory PC, which that is such a nebulous term to use, because like that is such a subjective thing, because like an entry level PC can range in many avenues. So it feels very vague to even like deduce anything, but my personal guess is that if they want this thing to be super successful, I feel like it would need to be under $600. Um, if it's anything higher than that, it'll probably be like a very semi niche enthusiast based console, which I think will have its own success, but not as like widespread or mainstream as um the current consoles and stuff like that. And then there's that other factor where Valve doesn't offer their devices to like local retailers as well. So then you factor that in, that they probably don't they'll miss out on that, even though us hardcore Steam fans probably well we know what we want. So you know you could get it that way. At least for me personally, I don't necessarily see myself getting this, mainly because I already have a gaming PC in my living room that like I'd rather just put the money, any money I put towards this, I just put towards a new graphics card. And just, play my games as normal on PC. Um yeah, I feel like this really speaks to probably the console gamer that is very, very curious about like PC gaming, and this is kind of like their introductory device to kind of get them acclimated, if you will. Um, and probably like the existing Steam Deck user that maybe exclusively only use the Steam Deck and now wants to, use the Steam Deck for the living room or whatever. One thing I did hear, which was pretty cool, was the fighting game community potentially latching onto this if it's affordable enough, which that would make a lot of sense in terms of the various issues that like consoles have had, mainly with connectivity. And I think I heard like, at least for the PS5, the USB ports like totally like melting or burning out from so many people connecting and disconnecting machines, in terms of when it comes to like fighting game tournaments or whatever. So that'd be kind of cool. And also I think would open up a avenue in terms of like, making games more accessible, since a lot of niche games are on PC, especially like fighting games and, modded fighting games, like probably like the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity Beyond or whatever, that could be much more easily accessible with this device. And also the portability, which I guess we didn't really talk about. It basically looks like the GameCube has come back once again. I like how people online have been calling it the GameCube, which is reference to the Lord and Savior, Lord Gaben, or Gabe Newell, who's like the founder CEO of Valve. Let me double check. Who is Gabe Newell to Valve? Co-founder and president of Valve. There you go. I guess he used to work at Microsoft. Wow. Fascinating. I probably knew that, but I totally forgot. So yeah, the Gabe Cube, which I think is very funny. The Gabe Cube is pretty it's pretty hilarious. So yeah, the form factor is pretty sleek. Also has a swappable face plates. So 360, we back, baby. They showed like in the video, they showed like a range of plates, face plates that you could put on the Steam machine. Like they had like a red one, a wood grain one, and they had this dope ass what they call an e-ink display, which it seems to show real time real time statistics in terms of like thermals and stuff on the front of the Steam machine, which I think is pretty dope. But they said that they're not selling it, which I'm like, all right, okay, I guess you're not selling, but definitely third party is about to go in for sure. And at what them and Etsy, one or the other, making custom Steam frame things, and they said like the schematics that they're gonna release for people to use as well, which that will also make it much easier for people to like customize and make their own personalized faceplates, which is a very dope. Also love the light LED light bar on the bottom of it, where they said that you could use it for many reasons or many purposes, but I think the most coolest one is probably if you're downloading a game, it'll show if you're like while you're waiting for it, and let's say hypothetically downloading something and you like, I'm gonna just watch this show while I'm waiting, it'll show you physically on the box the progress of the download with showing a progress bar similar to like the Steam interface, which is pretty dope. So yeah, man, just aesthetically I'm very much in. um has this big ass exhaust, and like looking at the inside of it, it like pretty much majority of the machine is just this heat sink, this huge heat sink, which is very fascinating in of itself. But yeah, I don't know. It really depends on the price. If let's say if it was like less than 600, I'd be curious. I'll say that. I don't know if I would ultimately bite the bullet, but I definitely would be curious. Like if it happened to be 400, then yeah, I'd totally be in. But I doubt that. Consider given what they said, I doubt that will be possible. Then they also showed the Steam controller, which is Valve's attempt once again to try to get this controller right. I felt like I owned the previous Steam controller, and I thought it was pretty decent for what it was. For me as somebody who doesn't play PC native games, I feel like I was like, well, I'd just rather play with my Xbox One controller, PC or PS4. So, but with this one, it does not look like aesthetically pleasing, but it does look like it is like really comfortable. It does look like really comfortable when you put it in your hands, and it does feel big hand friendly. From what I saw. Yeah, so it has the track pads below the analog sticks, similar to the Steam Deck. Standard ABXY buttons similar to Xbox. You got the Steam button, which that's I think a pretty big feature too, is that the Steam machine actually includes CEC, which is for the non-tech people. CEC is like a protocol that lets your devices communicate with your TVs and your AV receivers. So basically you could like turn your Steam machine on remotely without the proprietary PC convolutedness of Windows that like which is kind of crazy when you think about it. It's just so astounding that Windows, especially like what the latest version, Windows 11, does not have any means to have CEC installed or in use, which is very funny. But PC can do a lot of things, but apparently that's the only one thing you can do. I'm sure there's very convoluted ways to try to get it to work, but I mean more so a streamlined, easy, simplistic way to do it. You know. So yeah, I think one other thing I heard is that it has a cool feature with how you hold the controller determines or you can customize in terms of like if you hold it a different way and they have some sensors on the back or something like that that lets you modify how I think alternate between what is it gyroscope and analog stick or something along those lines, which I thought is pretty dope. And it comes with a charging, well, I guess it's like a receiver, but also is a charging pad, so you can like charge the controller. The controller has like what 30 people are reportedly 35 hours of battery life, which is that's pretty damn long. Pretty damn long. Yeah. I am interested to see how this gets PlayStation and Xbox to respond for sure. I'm very curious to see how they receive it, because I mean they did say that they're like trying to be considerate of the PS5 and Series X, so that's why they're not I guess pricing it in that range from what I hear, which is odd, but bygones be bygones, I guess. Yeah. They also announced the new Steam headset, which I forgot what it's called. Steam Frame. So this is the next iteration of Valve's headset, VR headset, where it has wireless communication to the Steam machine and presumably other PCs, and it uses like proprietary Wi-Fi connection to do so wirelessly, which I think is pretty interesting. I don't know. I'm not too interested in VR as of late, but this seems cool enough. Then is the rumors about Half-Life 3 and potentially this like being a marquee thing for it. But then again, it's like if Half-Life 3 launches with this thing, it'll probably launch with PC as well. So I don't see how they can make it. Well, they could probably potentially maybe make it exclusive to the device, but that just doesn't sound like a Valve thing to do. I don't see Valve necessarily doing that. I mean, they potentially could, but like maybe a 3-month exclusivity period to the Steam machine before the PC gets it or whatever. Even though, of course, we know like hackers are just gonna find a way at some point, but I don't know. So there you have it. The Steam machine coming with a vengeance. Well, I guess a vengeance from failing 10 years ago. But it does seem like, because I've at least somebody who's used the Steam Deck interface and messed with the Steam Deck. Yeah, it feels like this could definitely hit for whoever needs it. And then I totally forgot. Probably the only other factor that will probably make this will make this very compelling to me is that apparently this might be an emulation beast. So there's that too. Because that might be a reason that I would potentially bite if probably after it's released and I see some reviews and like people messing around with it. If just seeing the emulation capabilities of this thing, I think would be pretty fascinating. And yeah, that will probably be the biggest seller for me is just specifically emulation. But also if I want to choose to do so, play the supported Steam games, which they did mention too that they do have like a program to tell you what games are Steam Machine verified, similar to the Steam Deck, where it'll say if it's Deck verified, or at least now going forward, it's Steam Machine verified. So, and supposedly is coming out early 2026, but some people are saying that isn't necessarily the case, or that maybe that's just the controller and then the hardware is going to be later. Who knows? But supposedly early 2026. So I assume we'll get that price point at some point, or sooner rather than later. So yeah, moving on. Halo. You all. I'm just gonna use this say Halo. We all know. What was it like? Was that really 3 weeks ago? Um, 343. I think they had a showcase, or maybe it was like a thing for their tournament, like for Halo Infinite. Um, but during that event, they announced Halo Campaign Evolved, which is, you guessed it, we're remaking Halo once again. This is like the third time they remade Halo, I think. Let's see, there was original Halo Anniversary, and then on the 360, and then Halo remade for the Master Chief Collection. And now we got Halo Campaign Evolved. Let me double check. How many times? How many times has Halo been remade? Yeah, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. I guess the Halo remake on as part of the Master Chief Collection is a port of Halo Anniversary from the 360. But then again, I guess there's 5 different versions of Halo, if this is legit. I don't know. This doesn't seem legit. He might be right, but let me double check. So I guess this technically is a second remake of Halo. Yeah, the original, Anniversary on the 360, and now Campaign Evolved. So technically 3, which is pretty crazy still. So feature new missions, expanded gameplay, 2-player split screen on consoles, online and network co-op for up to 4 players on console and PC, and seamless cross-platform play with shared progression, which is pretty dope. It will be the definitive return trip through one of gaming's greatest journeys. Also, they were very adamant about it, showing that, hey, this is coming to PlayStation 5. So yeah, for any doubts, well, I mean, of course, after Gears came over, but yeah, I don't know. Something about Halo just feels like it's kind of like the nail in the coffin in terms of the quote unquote console wars, which I don't know. I guess that technically necessarily wasn't really ongoing, but I don't know. In regards to the expanded gameplay, which I think has understandably been pretty controversial, is that sprint will now be included in Halo Campaign Evolved, which of course wasn't included in the original game or Anniversary. So it got a lot of people riled up about, like, why are you adding sprint to this? Personally, I don't really mind it that much. I mean, as somebody who's a fan of sprint, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, but it does. I think where it does kind of, I guess, what I have an issue with the implementation is that this is literally, well, as the name implies, the campaign only. So there's no remade multiplayer, which, I mean, if you know Halo, that is a huge component to Halo, is the multiplayer. So to not have that is very odd. My only other guess is that they're probably planning to port the Master Chief Collection to PS5, and then maybe have some update that would allow crossplay between the PS5 and Xbox versions. Is probably my only other guess, but still, it wouldn't be remade. It's just that, but that would be kind of, that'd be a pretty compelling package in of itself. Is it is if they like had this exclusive bundle of only the remade original Halo trilogy games, like 1, 2, and 3 remade in like one package, which, I mean, potentially maybe they could do that too, and like start on a clean slate instead of trying to finagle with the Master Chief Collection. So I mean, I could see that happening too. So, but yeah, exclusive new missions, 2-player split screen, and I think four player co-op, which wasn't in the previous one. There was only, I think it was only co-op in the 2-player co-op in the first one. So interesting. Oh yeah, I forgot about, they added pretty much all of the majority of the existing weapons, like the battle rifle and energy sword, are also in this, which I think is pretty cool. Needle rifle, vehicle upgrades. For the first time in Halo Combat Evolved, the Master Chief can hijack nearby enemy vehicles that add range to his repertoire at the helm of a Wraith tank. So I think that was one vehicle you could not control in the first one, but now you can. Skulls, which I don't think was in the first one. Yeah, at least seeing the gameplay, it seemed pretty decent. And I think what they abandoned what they called, I think, the Slipstream engine. It seems like this is Unreal Engine 5 in terms of the engine. So yeah, interesting. I mean, I'm a sucker for Halo, of course, so I mean, I'm definitely gonna get this, but will I enjoy it though? Probably. It's Halo. I'm admittedly a sucker for Halo. Also, in line of that announcement, there's apparently some leaks, rumors, take it with a grain of salt, but apparently Halo 2 and Halo 3 are being remade, and that they will also have sprint and also have no multiplayer, only campaign. But they're saving multiplayer for Halo 7, which it seems like it's primarily gonna be, well, I assume the campaign and then multiplayer, but like, I guess to encourage people to just play that instead over the original multiplayer games, which, who knows if that will happen, but it's so odd to not include multiplayer with Halo. I feel like they go so hand in hand. Yeah. Yeah, that's odd. That is odd. I can see it though in terms of you know, they just want the campaign out, and then I feel like maybe at some point they would like bundle all the multiplayer, and well, but then it's like, why don't they just add it to to the existing games? I don't know. Maybe they might figure something out. Who knows? But there you go. Halo remade again. If you haven't played greatness before, you got another chance. If you keep slipping on these Halo remakes, you got another you got another chance. The time is now. The time is now. Moving on. GTA 6. It wouldn't be a Grand Theft Auto game without multiple delays, and Rockstar did not disappoint in that avenue. Which was like, I think last week, Rockstar dropped a tweet saying, "Hi everyone. Grand Theft Auto 6 will now release on Thursday, November 19th, 2026. We are sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait, but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you have come to expect and deserve." So there you go. Yet a year, damn near a year from now. It used to be in May. It was supposed to come in May around my birthday. Like, it would have been a perfect birthday present, but no. Now it's got to be pushed to November. So, a lot of people are speculating that this might have been the cause of the layoffs, that they laid off a decent amount of people from Rockstar, or fired, terminated, let go. And because of that they're giving themselves more time to, work on certain aspects of the game. Which, yeah, all in all, it sucks. But at the same time, not surprised at all. I mean, this is par for the course for Rockstar to delay and delay until, they're satisfied with it. I mean, considering how ambitious this game is and all the things you can do with it, personally, I'm like, hey, take your damn time. I'd rather have that and then this be just knock me off my socks. Knock me off my knock my socks off. Then yeah, like we waiting over a decade, literally 13 years for this for it to suck, which I see that's being a talk of the town now. Like, this guy's to the point where people are like, man, what if this sucks? Which it would be kind of hilarious, to be honest. Like, we waited 13 years for this, and now we played it and it is horrible. That'd be I don't see that happening, but because Rockstar, and then this is like their money maker, like their sole money maker, really. And if they get this right, then they're like good for like who knows how long. People still fucking buying 5. It's like that always fascinates me, because I'm like, how many, like, why do you need to buy GTA 5 again? What do you need? What do you need for that? You already bought it, so why are you buying it again? The only thing I think of is like, to people who are like exploiting GTA Online, and then their account got banned, so they're like buying the game again in order to play it. Is the only other thing I could think of, but GTA Online, man, GTA 5. It's funny, like some people have the theories that like we would have got this sooner if y'all stopped playing GTA 5, and I just want to know who those people are. Well, I mean, I can kind of see like if you get a good group of friends and you play regularly or something. I don't know. I feel like it's just a point in GTA Online that like, at least for me, I just got bored with the game as a whole. Like, I don't know, it felt a little too, not overwhelming, but I guess overwhelming in terms of like the things I was trying to do, but then it's also that I need to work with other people, but then like if I try to join random people, they don't want to play, and the people who I normally would play with don't play, so it's like, what do you do? So I mean, I guess that could be a factor as well, but so the the apple on the stick goes further away now until November 19th, 2026. I know a lot of developers are probably like ecstatic knowing that they pushed the game back, and now like, oh, we can release our games. We can release our games now. We don't have to worry about GTA 6, which yeah. I guess that's the other thing too, like this is gonna like drop like around the cutoff, what I would assume it would be the cutoff for like game of the year discussions, at least specifically the Game Awards. My guess is they might make an exception, or they might give this to people early, and that because they got to play it early, then it can still be considered and put in the running or whatever. I don't know, but how much would that suck? They like drop this and they don't get game of the year. Potentially they could get it the following year, but that'd be tougher with all the other various games and recency bias. Recency bias as well. So who knows? It's like, damn. It's like, will I even be around for GTA 7? I don't know. If we're going by this cadence and like, seems like incrementally each year seems to increase. Yeah. There you go. GTA 6 is so far away. It is so far away. Well, that concludes the news for this episode. Get into what I've been playing. Double Dragon Revive. Boy. Initially playing this, I was very apprehensive. I was very how do I describe it? Like you see the game up front and like play it and like you're very, how would I describe it? Like you're very concerned. It's probably the best way I can describe it. You're very concerned in terms of like the graphics, not the best looking game at all. It's decent, it's passable. But the more I played it, the more I did thoroughly enjoy it. There's a lot of hidden depth and mechanics after playing through it through some time. Like there's a lot of like bounce juggle physics, which if you know me, I'm a sucker for some juggles. I love me some juggles. So the that mechanic I feel like was very fun, and also the environmental interaction mechanics where you can like hit players and they all like fall into the foreground of the environment, whether it be like a car window or like a trash can in the background, which is pretty dope. And there's like a dedicated button that basically is like a kick in the foreground type button, at least for the main characters. I think the extra characters are they play a little drastically different from that formula, but they're still fun as well. So yeah, this definitely feels like a revival of Double Dragon in terms of like a semi reboot. Which I mean, personally, I kind of dig the direction that they were going in that regard. Uh, yeah, it was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. Very cheap, super cheap end game boss. I mean, I feel it's a lot of nods to the original games and the lore of Double Dragon. Um, that I thoroughly enjoyed, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Trying to think if there's anything else. I got I played on the Switch, the Switch version on the Switch 2. So it felt like I tried to like see if somebody was online, but I was like, I don't think anybody is. But I tried a couple times and could not find anybody. So I doubt the Switch is the optimal platform to play this on. And then I thought because I was playing on the Switch 2, I would get like a FPS boost, but it didn't really seem like it. It seemed like it was locked to 30, regardless on the software level. So, but I did see like on PS5 it is 60. So I think that would have enhanced my enjoyment of the game as well. But alas. Yeah, Double Dragon Revive. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was kind of skeptical, at least hearing all of the reception of it, that it wasn't that great. But personally, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Mind you, as a pretty huge Double Dragon fan. So, put some bias in there potentially, but I don't know. Even for what it was at face value, it's some fun to be had, especially like I played 2-player as well. It's actually pretty fun. It is actually pretty fun. To juggling people is even more fun. So yeah, I do recommend it if you're a beat 'em up fan. Double Dragon Revive, it's great, man. We just acknowledge I am so thankful for this beat 'em up resurgence. They just announced Russian Beat X coming out in March of next year. Man, give it up. Give it up. Beat 'em up resurgence. Beat 'em up resurgence. I love it. I love it so much. I really do. Also played and finished Ghost of Yotei. Damn, feels like maybe 60 to 70 hours put in doing everything. I still gotta clean up some stuff if I want to get that platinum. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Ghost of Yotei. It was very fun. I think it's definitely a huge improvement from Ghost of Tsushima, gameplay wise. Narratively, the story I feel like is kind of a step back from what I remember from Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know. I feel like they were going with this whole Kill Bill thing, but then they kind of deviate from it, and then it kind of they kind of deviate from it, and it just does not land how I personally want it to land. It just it reminded me of The Last of Us Part 2 in terms of the whole theme being revenge and like, oh, I'm gonna get him, and then when you get to the part like of it that like revenge isn't the answer. The revenge is not gonna make you feel better about yourself after you're done. But it's like, I don't know. Part of me is just like, I wanted this to go full full unabashedly samurai western, which I feel like the plot kind of took away from that fantasy a bit. Where I don't know, I would have liked Atsu, the main character of the game, to just be a bit more cold, because I think that was also the thing. And then I think this also attests to the dissonance between like video game logic and the in-game story narrative logic, where it's like, they allude to her killing people and stuff like that, but then they want her to have a soft side by introducing like a family member that she didn't know she had. And I don't know, it felt like it conflicted. The game conflicted with the story. Like, let's say if you totally like separated this game from the narration, the story, and it was just the game, I think marginally I would enjoy it a little bit more, because the story wasn't necessarily dragging it down that much, I feel like. Yeah. Cause yeah, I personally, and at least what the game kind of alluded to was like, this is like basically Kill Bill in feudal Japan, where I'm like, hell yeah, all right, yeah, see, like this whole crew, oh, they fucked up now. Now I'm killing every single one of them, and yeah, I don't know, just yeah, towards the end, it just kind of fell apart, I felt like. And then they just some of the narrative decisions of like certain characters, I'm like, I don't feel any emotion. If I'm supposed to feel something, I just don't feel it, kind of thing. So yeah, yeah. Love the wolf though. I feel like the wolf, at least if you look at all like the advertising and stuff, the wolf seems like he's a very prominent character in the game, but he's actually doesn't pop up that much unless you like, there's some certain things in the game you can earn to make him show up more often. But I feel like he showed up just right. He like showed up pretty much in most cases that like I would have wanted him to, which I feel like that is a very hard thing to perfect in general. Also, huge fan of the progression. The progression was fantastic, as well as the what would I call it? I guess it's similar to progression, but just the open world activities. Let me say that like it felt like I felt very incentivized and encouraged to do like a lot of the side stuff, including like the bamboo strikes. Also, I'm not sure if I said this before, but fuck the one particular one. I think we all know the one that I'm talking about. So yeah, that just, I feel like Sucker Punch really perfected what they did from Ghost of Tsushima, in terms of just like everything felt purposeful. It like, I didn't at really any moment feel like, oh, why am I doing this? I really don't want to do this. Everything felt like, okay, I'm gonna get a reward from this. This is worth doing. Or in general, it just felt like, as a whole, it was just worth doing. So yeah, hell yeah. Ghost of Yotei, very fun game. Very fun game. Yeah, I only got a couple achievements, trophies left before I get that platinum. So, shouts out to Takizo the Rivaled. Man, just finished that recently. He's, yeah, definitely the hardest boss in the game. And he whooped me a good amount of times. I'd say it thankfully only took me like, I'd say roughly 20 tries to actually defeat him, which I was very surprised by, especially initially fighting him. Is like, how the hell do you even fight this dude? But after doing some research, of course, looking online, seeing like the builds that demolish him, I did exactly that. I just optimized this build that like just would obliterate him, and it did. It was quickly, which I was very surprised because like it feels like his battle just takes the long game in many ways, but we succeeded. We took him out. Yeah. Ghost of Yotei. I recommend it. It's probably up there. It might make my top 5. I still haven't played Expedition or Metal Gear Delta, so I don't know. But alas, Ghost of Yotei. Also, game is beautiful, gorgeous. Yeah, this is definitely, if not for story, but artistic direction or best art direction. I feel like this potentially might be making a sweep in terms of well, I guess it might put up a fight with Claire, Expedition 33 probably. It might be a fight, but yeah, game is gorgeous. Ooh, it's so beautiful, just beautiful, man. And also the attention to detail and the environments, and yeah. If it's one thing I'll give it huge credit for is that. But yes, Ghost of Yotei. It was a fun time. It was a very fun time. Man. Yeah. And with that being said, I think that will conclude episode 205 of Switch Your Sights. If you did like this podcast, feel free to like, rate, subscribe on your various podcasting platforms. You can catch me record this live on Twitch TV/SaySwitch. You can also catch archives of this video podcast on YouTube.com/SaySwitch as well. But yeah, y'all, until next time, get your damn game on. Feel free to fuck. Aw, yeah. Nobody's safe.